Good morning. It is Friday, May 23rd, day before Memorial Day weekend. This is the Automotive State of the Union. I'm Paul J. Daly. This is Kyle Mountsier. Today we're talking about the Senate, reputation. Those two things actually have a really interesting combination.
I love how the way you said it is like the Senate reputation. And I was
that's going to be a hot topic.
That's hot topic.
This show's viewership goes through the roof. I'm like, no, we're not talking about. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Why
ruin everything we've built so far?
Why the Senate needs a brand build by Paul and Kyle?
I don't know. I mean, car dealers need someone to rank below them on the chart. That's the Senate, I guess.
Oh no.
Oh, you and I were on the ground yesterday, last day and a half actually, at Beaver Toyota in Cumming, Georgia, and it was just an inspired. We saw some other friends. A lot of people stopped by. I tell you what, Beaver Toyota is like Grand Central sometimes.
Well, what's crazy is like we saw a few people just meeting they weren't meeting with Beaver.
No,
they just made it the landing space to meet at the cafe.
Yep,
because it's just a nice cafe.
It's a real nice cafe. I mean, when can you get a really nice piece of salmon spread over rice and vegetables when you're waiting for your car to get service for $14?
It's unbelievable.
Oh, look, I know we're heading into a very busy weekend for the auto industry, so there's a lot of excitement and energy. Barbecue grills firing up. A lot of sales. We're seeing them out there, and people like ramping into this weekend. It's just a fun thing. Before we get into the weekend, though, want to make sure you remember next week we have an ASOTU Edge webinar being fired up with our friends at Stone Eagle and Cindy Allen, talking about driving performance with data that Kyle said is going to blow our minds when we see it.
So, it's good data, man.
I know. So you can go to asotu.com, register for that, and do that. You know what? I spent a lot of time on a plane yesterday. I tried a new strategy. I didn't take a direct home from Atlanta. Instead, I laid over in Detroit. Wave to our friend Errol as I was flying in and out. But because I was on the plane a little extra, it actually gave me a little extra time to like do stuff, right? You and I kind of just set it up as like, I don't know, this seat's my office. I don't know what you're doing next to me, but we're working over here. And I finally is starting to catch up. I know it sounds like ridiculously late on a SoduCon post and content because I was kind of like my body went down afterwards. So I lost that 2 or 3 days where I would usually do that. And I am just enjoying watching the content people made at ASOTUCon, especially Zach Kinch and Austin Conroy, cracking me up.
They were unbelievable.
That was a masterclass in how to do an event.
Yep.
I mean, when Austin's Indian style on top of the robot,
just going around,
it got me good.
Unbelievable.
It got me
and then
good.
Like the swag thing where he went around and just, I mean.
Yeah,
he hosted some swag. He got excited about some swag. He did some trick or treat. It was wild.
And this is terrible. I have literally not made a LinkedIn post since SoduCon. because because like I should. Yeah, you don't say no, but I keep like wanting to make the perfect post to capture my sentiment about Soda, and I can't.
It's so hard.
I can't. So I just gotta break the mold and get going. Okay, let's get into some news before this day gets too far behind us. In dramatic legislative twist, the U.S. Senate voted to block California's plan to ban gas-powered vehicles by 2035, undercutting a key Biden-era environmental policy and dealing a blow to a major state-led push for zero-emission standards. The Senate vote was 51-44.
That's strong.
That is strong. To rescind the EPA waiver allowing California stricter emissions rules. 11 states following California's policy would also be impacted, including my home state of New York and Washington. Auto dealers and manufacturers are lobbying hard for the repeal, citing feasibility concerns that's defying Senate precedent and a legal ruling from the parliamentarian. What does that mean?
So there's a guy who determines Senate rules, and he's called the parliamentarian, and essentially he had said that this rule was allowed by California, and the Senate chose to overrule him in this case.
Oh, that's why they needed the heavy vote.
Yes.
I'm just staggered that we have the word parliament somewhere in our government structure. Here's a quote from our good friend John Bozzella, CEO of Alliance for Automotive Innovation. He says, "You can be against the ACC2 EV mandates. We were, and believe that transportation is trending toward a range of electrified products like battery electric vehicles, hybrids, and plug-ins. It is. That's what balance looks like. And balance is not only good for consumers, but essential for the U.S. auto industry to remain healthy and globally competitive. That sounds like some rational thinking.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've had a lot of conversations with John and cited him quite some times. And what's clear across the industry is there's nobody that's voting for this that is fully anti-EV. They believe that that's a path, and it is a powertrain that should be regarded as like one that consumers want. But the path to pushing that into the consumer base has to be measured, has to be based on demand, and has to be based on the infrastructure available to support that push. And so this is obviously, I think it's a win for a lot in the industry, especially the OEMs. It is an interesting thing that this Senate precedent that's kind of been set now to overrule the state governments and some of the trade stuff there, basically trade stuff, and their standards it's a little bit weird, though it's a win for auto. So it's kind of like in two buckets at this point.
I think it's just indicative of like balanced thinking versus binary thinking, right? And the balanced thinking like wins. It's like that's all there is to it. And I think we're seeing that now. And I think it's a great time. I think great future for auto to have the balance that a lot of you and me and a lot of people have been talking about for the last 5 years anyway. And it's good to see it happening. I've been trying to dig up a segue.
No,
real bad. Didn't happen. All right. Story 2. Axios and the Harris poll just dropped their annual brand reputation rankings, and the message from consumers is loud and clear. Keep prices fair, quality high, and don't exploit inflation. Brands that did that well, brands that did well stuck to those basics. Nearly half of all corporate reputations declined this year, driven by frustration over high prices and perceived drops in quality. 77% of Americans say companies are charging more for lower quality. 63% have stopped buying from a brand due to high cost, and 54% stopped buying over declining product standards. The biggest winners, companies who are focused on delivering consistent value. Top 10 most
when you hear these
brands,
lists, you'll get it. When you hear this list, you'll get it right away.
Yeah, we're awful partial to number 4. Top 10 most reputable brands: Trader Joe's, Patagonia, Microsoft, Toyota Motor Corporation, trigger the applause, Costco, Samsung, Arizona Beverage Company, NVIDIA, UPS, and Apple.
Yeah, when you stack those brands up, you start to see a thread in some of the things that they deliver. The one weird one for me is Microsoft. I think a lot of IT professionals must have been voting in this thing. But look, the top of the list, Trader Joe's and Patagonia, like sold out believers. They haven't wavered in their pricing strategy or their quality strategy, and they build brand better than no other. And so it's clear as to why they're in the top. The other really surprising one to me is Arizona Beverage Company. They built a brand around buying that sort of beverage. And it's just,
Well, I think one of the reasons there is that Arizona has always been a value-based beverage.
Yep.
And I feel like every time I go in the grocery store, the Arizona drinks are actually bigger.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Think about it. They're always toward the bottom.
Like, how did that can get bigger?
Those giant cans. And I think that's it. Like that people know what to expect. And the original value prop that they signed up for is still there. And you look at that list and it's every one of those hits that.
Fun fact about Arizona is this is their first year on the list. Wow. So they went from not being on the list,
not being there, to being.
How did that even happen? What did they do last year? Automotive brands on the list: Toyota, number 4, which is up from number 8. Honda, number 13, down from number 6. They back down. GM, number 44, down from number 4.
Or no, down 4. They were 40.
I'm sorry. Oh, down 6. I'm reading this wrong. Hyundai is number 51, stuck at the landing. No change there. Volkswagen is number 53, up 16 positions. Ford is number 60, down 5. Tesla, number 95, down 32 spots in the largest move of any company in the list.
Yeah,
but they're still on the list.
Talk about delivering the brand value proposition that you were delivering in the beginning, and the antithesis to that, and the belief that you're delivering something different now.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think the product has changed. I mean, it's got incrementally better, just like it always has. But it's the brand perception.
Brand perception.
And they've got, listen, the quality has gone up, the price has gone down.
Yep.
It's not just about quality and price. Brand is a feeling and a sentiment. It is a mirror that reflects your values back.
Tell your story, or someone else will.
Speaking of someone else telling your story,
we're gonna talk about this story. Then we're gonna watch something that should scare you at some level. At its I/O 2025 developer conference, we talked a bit about this yesterday. Google also unveiled.
Wait, before you say this, should we just play the video of our friends at this auto show?
Yeah, let's do it.
Check out this video of our friends at this Shanghai Auto Show.
Welcome to a non-existent car show. Let's see some.
I mean, man, the acceleration is crazy. You look far, step on the pedal, and you are there.
I feel safe with him in an SUV, and it seems to be like the right type of car for him.
I think the range is only going to get better. Sorry.
We don't want to drive gas cars anymore.
Yeah, no more gas cars.
You can see I'm kind of a misfit here, but don't tell anyone. I've just bought an electric car.
I think it's really great for families and for little babies with all the safety features that these SUVs have.
But what you're really seeing is that technology is going to be very, very important in terms of how we go forward.
It was great to come to the conference because my husband loves cars.
I think I have to buy an EV now. I love my muscle cars, but
I try to stay as healthy as I can so I can make it to the next car show.
All right. So if you were just listening, that was a variety of people, from a biker guy confessing that he just bought his first EV, he's probably like a 70-year-old Hell's Angel.
Yeah. And all the way from different ethnicities, families, men, women, with perfect alignment of audio and visual.
Well, tell people that wasn't real.
And it wasn't real. Not a single one.
We couldn't believe that. So
if you're just listening to this, you need to go find this video on YouTube or LinkedIn and go watch what's going on.
The story.
Yeah, so basically they've unveiled Veo 3. It builds on their Veo 2 with better visuals, and now audio aligns aligns automatically with what's on screen. Google says it's the first step away from silent AI generated video, a space that's getting crowded with startups like OpenAI, Alibaba. To address deep fake concerns, every clip includes Google's Synth ID watermarking to help identify AI generated content. Early sample clips include AI generated interviews like this one from fake car shows, and a bunch of different interview sources. So the landscape right now for AI generated videos is becoming quite creepy in its ability to replicate, pretty seamlessly real life.
Yeah, the video, the audio. You look, they have so many different examples in this of different cinematic scenes, of real world scenes. I think the cinematic scenes are great, but I think it's the real world ones that really kind of like give you the feeling. You're like, that's not a real person. That's not a real sentiment. That was just generated out of nowhere. So we thought it'd be fun to share, especially because it was an auto show. And it's like, that's, Kyle and I were actually, I think, were we in an Uber? Or no. Yeah, we were, Emmanuel picked us up. We were on our way to Beaver Toyota, and I showed that to you. And we were like, the only thing that is going to be different and unique. And it's like, Kyle, you reached over and you like, grab my shoulder. Is this? Like, we're together, we're doing a thing, we're having experience, we believe in something together, which basically was a SodaCon. And when
it will be more and more important that people get together, there will be a drive back to being in person. And I think for all of the things that we're driving to push things like digital retail or online video or video walkarounds, you will watch over the next 2 to 3 years, people crave in-person interaction. So getting that in-person interaction process down in any retail environment is going to be an all-time necessity.
What are you saying? Humans crave authenticity, relationship, and fulfillment. We could be on to something there. You have a lot of opportunity for that over Memorial Day weekend. Have a great time, sell some cars, and take care of one another. We'll see you tomorrow.